Page 3 of so you took enter music games folder 107 apps opening games folder game blindfold bowling page 1 of 12 page 4 of 12 page 5 page 8 page 10 of 12 page 11 page 12 of Best of Us Necromancer Diabolical double tap 3 games double tap to open 3 games home head play restart play button play logo imagine the 3 games is an interactive novel play text field play now for free button chapter 1 text 0% think you can do better whole image 0% think you can do better prove it think you can do 0 image whole voodoo image and degrees 1 arcade open button close interstitial ad button home 3 show step chapter 1 Zoe PNG image you're crouching in a bush whose twig consistency ranges from a tight knot to barely anything at all. Half an hour into hiding, you've already become a constant for a wolf ant colony passing through this very bush. Another half an hour in counting wolf ants has become boring. By now you've been here long enough for even the threat, no matter how imminent, to have become boring. Wolf ants are a specialty in the arena. They leave you be if you know to sit tight and avoid stepping on them, but try to as much as touch their nest and down you go. Howling. Hence, wolf ants. As to the reason you're hiding, you're trying to keep yourself alive while not exerting too much energy. Running is off the table. The only other option is going after your opponents, hoping to take them out before they manage to kill you instead. The thing is, you don't want to kill anyone just yet. Nothing bad about trying to keep yourself murder-free for a few extra hours, eh? Plus the Timothy guy is terrifying. You had made a deal with another spine to cover each other's backs until finding your respective teams. But Timothy decided it would be better to grab your companion and snap her neck. Just like that. You grab her supplies and escape just as Timothy turned to attack the only other guy left, bashing his head against a tree trunk, which means there are 3 of you now. You, next, button. Next. 4 periods, you've been growing your hair out forever and refuse. 4 periods, you didn't. 4 periods, your name, you ran full speed for a few. Your name is Zoe Wells and your face is full of leaves. You refuse to cut off your long dreadlocks before entering the tournament because, ellipsis. 4 periods, you didn't want to change yourself for the arena. Something as simple as keeping your hair might help you stay the same. Radio button, checked, 1 of 3. Checked, 4 periods, next, text field, next, button. Next, button, sometimes it's the little things that define us and help hold on to what's truly important. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, image, show stats, but Zoe, either way you're at a greater risk of someone grabbing the long ponytail that is your hair, no matter how neatly tied you keep it. And you're not looking forward to pulling all the stray twigs out of it later. Your skin is dark and you're especially grateful, the last thing you need right now is shiny whiteness standing out among the flora. Your vest supports the idea of blending in. The bottom part is as black as the rest of the arena outfit, but the part halfway from your chest up is gray, the color of the spines. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, show stats, Zoe, the spines are one of the 5 specializations you could get sorted into for the game. Their strongest suit is stealth and observation. In a team they mostly fill the role of scouts, but can also deliver unseen stealth blows to their enemies. As the most courageous of the specializations, and the most independent, the spines are the best equipped to handle stress situations. The other specs are the lips, heart, hand and brain, right? You like your role and the possibilities it opens up. You had hoped to become a spine. Radio button, checked, 1 of, you like your role and the possibilities it opens up. It feels like too much responsibility. You had hoped to become a different specialization. Radio button, check, next, text field, next, button. Next, button. Unfortunately, sneaking comes easiest to you and is what you're good at. You hope that in time you'll feel comfortable enough to handle all of your role's challenges. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, show stats, Zoe, despite the feelings you might have on the subject of your role, here you are, sitting in your gray vest. It's by far the stealthiest of the spec uniforms. The other 4 bear bright colors, as their wearers are meant to prove themselves in different ways than playing hide and seek. While stealth remains your primary objective, you do have a choice in how you're going to approach it. Are you going to be brave, venturing where others fear to approach, always the first to lead the way, no matter the risks? Or are you going to be cautious, observing rather than placing yourself into unnecessary danger? The more consistent you are with your decisions, the better you're going to be at your chosen strategy types. Brave. You believe you're good enough to sneak as close as you want to without cautious. Stealth is nothing without caution. How else are you supposed to notice traps and enemies if you... Check. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, in your opinion, making sure nothing goes wrong instead of just barging in and hoping for the best is hardly a waste of time. You're going to play this safe first and foremost. Next, button. Next, button, text next, but 4 periods, remain still in your hideout and wait for them to pass, radio but, 4 as they sound, you continue crouching in the bush and are in the midst of watching a wolf ants crawl over your boot, when you hear footsteps. Fast, heavy footsteps. They're coming in your next, button. You continue crouching in the bush and are in the midst of watching a wolf ants crawl over your boot, when you hear footsteps. Fast, heavy footsteps. They're coming in your direction, quite quickly at that, giving you a short notice for decision making. As they sound closer and closer, you, ellipsis. 4 periods, reach out of your hideout and try to grab the person's ankle, radio button, checked. 4 periods, remain still in your hideout and wait for them to pass, radio button, unchecked, next, button. 4 periods, reach out of your hideout and try to grab the person's ankle. 4, next, button. Zoe. PNG, your hand shoots out of the bush entrance as soon as a leg appears in your vision. Unfortunately you don't get a good hold and your attempt makes the person barely stumble. You hear them yelp in surprise, but they don't stop. Adrenaline pouring into your veins, you dash out of your hideout as fast as you can and dart right after them. A gray hijab safely confirms the person you are chasing is Patricia, one of the other two surviving spines. Though now that you're after her, one of you might not be surviving for much longer. As long as it's not you, you can always feel bad later. Radio button, checked. 1 of 2. Checked. It's horrible, but both of you knew what you signed up for. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, image. Patricia is weary from having run for a while and you're faster, catching up to her in no time. You make a jump for it and tackle her to the ground. She lands onto her hands with a painful hiss and you try to pin her down, but she rocks her head backwards and hits you in the forehead. You lose 5 points of health. While you're busy growling, wincing, and doing your best not to reach up to rub your forehead, Patricia struggles under your weight to turn around on her back. You're in a bit of a haze and it takes you a second to realize Patricia's terrified eyes aren't staring at your face, nor are they staring at any part of you at all. There's a shadow looming over both of you. As you turn to look at the new threat, Patricia kicks you off of her in one swift motion and before you can stop her, she's already gone. Fudge. Next, button. Zoe. Show stats, but, Zoe. Ah, so that's why all the running, you think, aggravated, as you crawl up to your feet. The large guy who had killed your temporary companion, Timothy, is standing in front of you, smiling. He doesn't immediately move to do anything, or to say anything for the matter. Then you notice a knife blade smudged in red peeking from behind his back. Perfect. You eye Timothy cautiously. Hi, he says at last, his smile growing wide and bright. You could almost believe it's genuine. Keep eyeing him cautiously, saying nothing. Radio button, checked. 1 of 3. Smile back. Try to get him talking. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, show stats, button. 3 games, heading. Home, 3, shows, Zoe. He, too, keeps eyeing you. His smile never falters. You're more and more creeped out. Make a step to the side. Radio button, checked. Let's just cut to the chase, you say and hope he appreciates your pun as you turn around enough. Next, button. Let's make a step to the side. Radio button, checked. Let's, next, button. Zoe. PNG, Zoe. He also makes a step to the side, but a bigger one, in your direction. Let's just cut to the chase, you say and hope he appreciates your pun as you turn around enough. Next, button. Let's just cut to the chase, let's just cut. Next, button. Zoe, show stats. Zoe, you're running and putting quite the effort into it. Longer legs are serving Timothy well and almost catching up to you now and then, but fortunately you've always been the fastest runner in your ballet clique. Oh, how you would like to pirouette your boot right into Timothy's face. Plan. Plan, 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 you think frantically as you dodge a branch in your way. You didn't really have the time to pay attention to most of your surroundings when you were fleeing the massacre at the spine drop-off, but one thing did catch your eye, a growing wolf ant hill. If you could somehow lure Timothy into it, ellipsis, it's worth a shot at least, right? As you see it, you have 3 options. The wolf ant hill is 1. Trying to outrun Timothy is 2. You don't like your chances in this option, however. The third and the possibly most risky option is utilizing your ether gene ability. Next, button. Ether is a fueling drug substance. On SPS4N, familiarly called Susan or Susie by its inhabitants, A.K. The most important part of Susian culture are the implants, gadgets in the form of microchips that most people choose to have implanted at the age of 15, which is the legal age of consent to the procedure. The implants need to be implemented into the human body as soon as possible, as they merge into the host's nervous system and genes. The earlier it's done, the fuller the merge tends to be, and the fuller the merge, the less ether is needed to activate the implant. At 15 years old, the body is too old for a 100% merge, and so the number of illegal transplants on minors is ever growing. Now, the implants themselves wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for the drug problem. The only way to keep the gadgets running is through the usage of ether. The more expensive the implant, the less often you need it to refill. Poor parents often choose to save up for their kids' implants since infant age, as ether bought in large quantities can be quite the expense. Moreover, since the only way to use it is through a needle, repeated frequent use is hardly optimal. Another downside is that some implants, if left unpowered, explode. Some do the second all ether is drained out of your body, some take days, some even months. Why still use the implants if they're such a pain in the ass? Besides the fact that pretty much everything is run by and on the implants, obviously. Upon the next, button. Zoe. PN, your own gadget is quite durable and you have 2 packs of ether on you, one yours and one from your dead companion, but you would prefer to last without a refill as long as possible. Who knows how much ether you're going to need further into the games? As to your genie, well, whenever you tell someone that you can turn invisible, they think it's the coolest thing ever. What they don't count on, however, is that you also turn blind for the time being. Light can't pass through your eyes when there are no eyes. There, you've become really good at navigating your surroundings with only your hearing throughout the past 4 years, but it was always in a terrain you knew. And not while you were running, so what are you going to do? Take a sharp turn and attempt to lead Timothy into the wolf ant's hive. Radio button, checked. 1 of 3. Keep running. Try to jump out of sight long enough to activate your genie. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, genius, you think to yourself. You have no idea how you're going to execute this yet, but you have no doubt that it's the soundest of the plans presented to you. Not only does it give you the opportunity of getting Timothy off your trail, but of outright eliminating him, it also assures that you're not going to get your hands dirty in person. You're just going to be the little push that directs Timothy to his doom, rather than the active destroyer. And that lifts your spirits. Next, button. Zoe. PNG, image, show stats. Zoe, you feel like you might collapse any second. Your lungs are burning and your hip feels like it's being stabbed with needles repeatedly. You're very glad that you had the foresight to save the hive's location into your implant's map. Not that the map is useful for anything else so far, it only shows the locations you've already discovered. And there it is. You can make out the top of the ant hill above some branches. It's a notch bigger than the last time you saw it, but small enough to stay hidden in grass. You're really glad for the map right now, as otherwise you might have run right into it. You're very glad that you had the foresight to save the hive's location into your implant map. Not that the map is useful for anything else, you feel like you might collapse any second. Zoe. PNG, now is the time to start worrying about how you are going to avoid the hive yourself. Use a branch hanging above the hive to swing over, even though it might give the same idea to Timothy. You would rather get stabbed than eaten alive by ants. Radio button. Pass around the hive, hoping Timothy will instead continue to make a beeline for it. Radio button. Unchecked. 2 of 3. Simply muster as much strength as you can and try to jump over the hive without the additional support of the branch. Radio button. Unchecked. Next button. Zoe. PN shows Zoe. Unfortunately, Timothy knows something is off the second you alter your path and checks on the road ahead just in time to avoid the hive himself. He laughs as he continues chasing you. You keep running, even go for an unsuccessful attempt to pick up your pace. Your legs are starting to give out under you and dark blotches, bigger and bigger. Then a hand on your back pushes you forward and you're reeling through the air in full speed. You feel pain and then nothing at all. You have died. This is the last scene. The game is over. Do you wish to return to a checkpoint? Yes. Radio button. Checked. No. Next button. Chapter 1. As to the reason you're hiding, you're trying to keep yourself alive while not exerting too much energy. Wolf ants are especially in the arena. Half an hour into hiding. 3 games. Closing game. 7 p.m. Status bar item. Control center. Low selected.